prompt and start on time, so if everyone wants to grab a seat. And I'm thrilled to see so many people here interested in young people and ensuring that they can access the opportunities that entrepreneurship can give. So we're looking forward to, well, I say a conversation, we've got 45 minutes, and we're going to say a lot, but there are a lot of people here that we can follow up with. So I hope it's interesting, and we're going to kick off.
Check, 1, 2.
Okay.
Are we on? Yep.
Take a seat. Maybe I'll stand for this bit. So my name's Jo Gray. I'm from an organisation called Youth Business International. We are the only global network focused on youth entrepreneurship. And I'm here with colleagues from the wider network. And we are here today wanting to talk about the missing middle. And I'm sure that's a term that many people here are familiar with. I'm not going to try and define it now. Why is it important? The missing middle in the context of youth as well. Why is it important? Because young people and their businesses are creating jobs. Young people and their businesses are driving economies and growing communities and creating opportunity within their worlds. And they are also innovating, driving social businesses. They're passionate about things. They're breaking business models. We heard Jonathan Altman on his opening talking about the disruption in the world. Young people are disrupting markets, but there are barriers to that. I hope everyone can access this later. Do take pictures if you would like the definitions. I'm not going to talk them through, but this is how we're defining the missing middle. When we talk about youth, it's 18 to 35, just to be clear on that as well. Sadly, yeah, I'm well out of that category. Anyone who's still in the 18 to 35, fantastic. Make the most of it. There's lots of opportunities and support for you out there. There's potential here. We can all, I think, the stats. Many of you will have seen, we've put a few up there from totally different parts of the world of what kind of the impact that these small and micro and growing businesses can have on job creation and economic success. However, there are barriers to that, and that's what we're kind of here to focus on, both what they are and how we try to unlock some of those for people, because if we don't, young people are getting left behind in this market. So there are legal frameworks people will be familiar with, again, the way there are the lack of networks. Whenever I talk to entrepreneurs, it's all about, I'm not being taken seriously. I can't get it to talk to the people who can help me. I can't have access to the networks that people who are more advanced in their careers or their entrepreneurship journey can do. So it's how do we unlock some of those? Finance is a huge, I think, topic about being able to access the right type of finance for the right type of business. And various other things, this growth mindset thing that how do we enable people to take that big set? So there are lots of things that are holding young people back. And some facts in there as well. And I'm sure my wonderful colleagues here will fill in more of that as well. So this is where we are. There is a missing middle. They should not be missing because they could contribute such huge impact to the world, but there are things getting in the way, and we, as a network and working with young people into entrepreneurship, are trying to solve some of those problems. I'm guessing some of the people in the room here today are also trying to do that. So if you don't get all the time to speak together here today, I hope we inspire you with some things and you come and find us later. So I'd like to hand over, and who will introduce himself, Bora, who works for an organisation, Turkey, who is a member of the YBI network, and he is going to share a very specific, context-specific experience and story from Turkey. Bora.
All right, thank you, Jo. Can you hear me? All right, thank you. Hi, everyone. So once again, thank you for inviting us. And this is the third day of the event, but the participation level is very high. So that's very impressive. So I wanted to say before starting. I'm the executive director of Habitat Associations. Habitat basically, we are the civil society organizations that supports young people, women, and children through our programs. Let's say social responsibility and social development programs. And we are, and basically provide and capacity development trainings and skills-based trainings and to empower the young people and those, kind of the different groups of the society in Turkey. While doing that, we are basically, partnering with the multinational companies such as Meta, Starbucks, Netflix, all of the, famous internet multinational companies. We are working with them, while, driving all these, social development programs in Turkey. And at Habitat, we have mainly three focuses, by the way. One of them is, for sure, digital transformation, right? So we are living in a rapidly, evolving technology environment, right? So, and at the same time, so the need for the job skills and the other, areas are evolving as well at the same time. So one of our within the digital transformation focus, we are delivering, let's say, and AI, digital literacy, and and others coding trainings to young people, basically, and also women and children as well. And our other focus is, for sure, the environment, right? After the pandemic, especially, so the environment has been very important and critical thing for our life, daily life. So in Turkey, at Habitat, we are organizing some, let's say, awareness campaign and also face-to-face trainings to increase the awareness of the young people, especially. They are our target groups in our all projects. We're also targeting them. But the most important one, our last focus, is entrepreneurship, for sure, right? So, but and because all right, so in Turkey, 15% of the population is young. So this is very big potential from entrepreneurship point of view. That's the fact. However, in Turkey, the young entrepreneurs are facing challenges such as finding resources, necessary trainings, and mentorship programs, right? So it's still not easy for them in Turkey, to reach out those. I'm not saying that there's none, by the way. So there's none. There is. Yeah, there are some, influential and strong programs that supports the, young entrepreneurs in Turkey. That's for sure. But it should be improved. So as a civil society organizations and as habitat associations, we are doing lots of stuff, right, to support this need, basically. For instance, we have established in Turkey more than 15 community hubs. And in Turkey, with the partnership of basically municipalities, local chambers of commerces, and they are all free of charge, by the way, for the young startups, and also for earlier startups. Our all trainings and programs that supports, and they are benefiting, young startups that using our community hubs are benefiting from all our educational materials, and all our curriculums are free. Apart from the community hubs, we develop social development programs that supports the entrepreneurship, efforts in Turkey, and with the partnership of, as I already mentioned, multinational companies. But due to the time constraints, I will touch one of them, which is the most and impactful one, and that's happening in Turkey, and that has been 3 years, right, since we started with YBI and started Chartered Foundation. And that's the project name is Future Lab. And we are partnering with YBI with this project. And also this project supported by the Standard Chartered Bank Foundation. All right, so within this project, we have, we are organizing entrepreneurship training programs. And the curriculum consists the training such as business idea presentation, and design thinking, intellectual property rights, and brand and store design and company trademark registrations. And so far, with Future Lab projects, with the partnership of YBI and Standard Chartered Foundation, and we reached out to, the young people, and we trained more than 800 participants within this project. So we delivered these trainings to, more than 800 young participants, help them to, reach out to necessary trainings to start their entrepreneurship journey. That's one within this project. The other one, we are organizing ideathon events within Future Lab projects. We conduct, so far within Future Lab, we organized 3 interactive events, ideathon events, and so far 54 teams have participated to this Ideathon event in Turkey. And through these, Ideathon events, and we are offering mentorship training and business development support. And we are also, creating collaborative space for the young startups, for Ideathon, mentorship, and peer learning, and we are also, providing support for them to meet up with the potential investors in Turkey. And also, within that program, we are organizing, accelerator programs and also demo day. And also, within the Future Lab program, we are providing seed funds for the young startups to help them, start their journey. And especially we are targeting early stage startups in our Future Lab project. So that's all on my end. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Bora. I'm now going to introduce Matt Wallace. Matt's from, his organization works out of Myanmar, so we're a very global stage here. We're going to get to Brazil at the end, but Matt's a local boy, so I'll let you introduce yourself, Matt.
Yeah, I live here. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. So I live here in Indianapolis, actually, at this point. I've been in Asia for the last 15 years. I'm a recent arrival in Indianapolis, so I was so excited that GEC came here. Thanks for that. So I think probably when I think about this problem of investability, I think it's mostly about a problem that things that are invisible need to be made visible. The books of our business owners need to be made visible. The existence or the presence or the aptitude of our entrepreneurs needs to be made more visible. The message you're going to hear throughout this is our job as ESOs is to surface the really great businesses we work with and help them become more visible to the ones that deploy capital. That's kind of be the key message here. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of a group of companies. We are an ESO in Southeast Asia, but we're also two tech companies. One company that helps other ESOs scale up the really important touch aspect of their programs, and the other tech company that helps turn those books that are often manual into digitized books that can be seen. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. I've been doing this about 15 years. We launched 1,200 businesses in Burma and Thailand. Have coached about 15,000 in real time, one-on-one. That's what I'm working from here. So here's the message again: small businesses are often invisible, and so we discount them. A lot of these businesses are really good businesses. A lot of young people are running amazing businesses, profitable, ready to grow. But when we don't see them, we think they aren't real. And so we discount them. That means our risk premiums are higher, our interest rates are higher, or we just ignore them. Lenders just don't trust that they could deploy money into these businesses and get it back. Their value is discounted. Here's their reality, okay? We just did a pilot project in Nigeria with our friends at Fate Foundation. 97% of small businesses in Nigeria are keeping manual records or memory records. No digital involved. 97%. That means that their physical cash flow cannot be seen. It can't be verified. That means we have uncertainty, so that undermines their investability. That means no growth capital, no opportunity to expand the business, or for 90% of businesses that maybe aren't growth ready, but are dependent on really tight cash flows, they don't see the big cliff coming because they also don't see their cash flows. What we're trying to do is make it visible to them as a business owner and also visible to the investor. That secures the business and helps develop the livelihoods. It keeps those jobs from disappearing in these communities. What if this young business owner could just chat with a trusted advisor? Now, that's two things, okay? That's one real person, a mentor, a coach, and it's a digital system that takes their simple chat and turns it into something that is viewable, is seeable. So we need mechanisms that help SMEs become visible to decision makers around capital. ESOs play a really essential high-touch role. Everything today is saying, we got to move digital, we got to move automated, we got to move into systems that scale, and we automatically think that means no humans. We still need humans. to verify the existence of these business owners. We worked with a digital bank in Myanmar. The value we added to that bank was we knew these entrepreneurs. We could see them, we could talk to them, we could understand what's going on. That's still essential. But we also need to digitize their transactions. And right now, that means going to QuickBooks. It means going to Wave. It means going to hundreds of tools that are meant to digitize accounts. But the problem is, the assumption is those entrepreneurs can think like an accountant. They are not accountants. They didn't sign up to be accountants. They're out running a business that they are passionate about in their community. And so the learning curve on these tools is too steep. We got to meet them where we are and build tools that are simple, that they can simply interact with. And today's technology lets this happen in a way and at a scale we've never seen before. Those two combined, that we see them as real people with our high touch, along with digital tools that digitize their cash flows, is how we build a profile of trust. It's how we help financial service providers see them and know them and believe they are creditworthy. That's how we help them qualify for growth capital that helps them expand. Now, a friend of mine, Joe, and I talk about this a lot. We hear him say this often, and this is unfortunate. The way you know a business is investable is if they've already been invested in. Let me just sit with that for a minute. Isn't that unfair? That means those that got capital will keep getting capital, and those that haven't yet gotten capital will not get capital. This is hard for us as ESOs. We think the value we bring a lot of times is curriculum, but I loved what Boris said at the end. We've got to be first money in. If we believe in what we're doing and that it's really valuable, we will bet on these entrepreneurs ourselves. We have to be the ones putting first money in, taking first risk. If we really believe in what we're doing, we'll do that. And that itself is the most powerful signal to an investor or to a lender. We've established a credit journey because we felt confident enough in our entrepreneurs that we went for it. So I want to, I'll tell you, I have 3 companies I mentioned. The CRM company is called Enable. We're a program management software. If you're looking to scale up your mentorship programs, talk to me about Enable. If you're interested in digitizing the cash flow and helping make better decisions around how the business is actually managing their cash, that's called Ascent. And that QR code will take you to a very early stage prototype of the Ascent tool. I'd be happy to talk about how to do this at scale. So far, we've had about 500 businesses in the platform. We're super early. We're learning. If you're interested in learning with us, come along for the journey, okay? Enable is program management to take mentorship high touch to a higher scale. Ascent is about digitizing that cash flow, and we're super early prototype level, okay? Come reach out. I'd be glad to talk about what we're doing and what you're doing, okay? Thanks a lot. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Matt. So I hope what everyone's picking up here is around some of the barriers we said that people are already doing things here. There's a digital tool to try and professionalize a process into having financial records without going through a whole load of training and how to be an accountant. And we know there are a lot of things out there. There's a level of financial literacy training, which I think is critical, but then people need to use these things. Then programmatically deploying things to enable. So it's learning, it's tools. There are a lot of things and other external areas we need to influence here. So Turkey, Myanmar. Let's go to Brazil. Bia will introduce herself. Bia is a graduate of our YBI's first ever boot camp for young entrepreneurs. So again, trying to enable access to the kind of levels of learning that not everyone can always access, or you've got to be a very different segment of entrepreneur to access. I know she's probably not going to say it about herself, but she is a Forbes Under 30 winner. Very proud to have her here with us. And she's going to share, do give her a round of applause. And she is exactly the type of entrepreneur we're all talking about, and she's going to share a little bit about her story. Bia.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm Bia Santos. I'm from Brazil. I'm an entrepreneur for more than 9 years, and I'm really proud to be here. I'm really happy to be here. So thank you, IBI, for the invitation, and also Jem. I'm here to talk a little bit more about my business. So I'm going to explain a little bit what we do, and also I'm going to share some of the barriers that we faced during this time. So I'm the founder, one of the founders and the actual CEO of Barkus. We are a social impact startup that works with creating digital solutions to solve the lack of financial education and inclusion in Brazil. And we know that is not only a problem from Brazil. You know, that is also a problem here in US, in some countries in Europe, in Latin America, in Asia, Africa. So it's a problem that affects all of us. In Brazil, we have a population of 200 million people, but more than 66 million Brazilians have overdue bills, and almost 80% of our families are in debt. We also have a lot of problems. Brazilians normally they spend more money than they earn, and they also have sometimes they are not able to to cover a large unexpected expense. Sometimes they have problems to recognize a good investment or to access credit. So it's a huge problem. But it's not only a problem from families and the population, but also a problem for companies and the economy. Some benefits companies in Brazil, they did a research to kind of measure how it's a problem for the companies, and they saw that most Brazilians, they have problems in their work performance because financial problems. Sometimes they face the lack of motivation, concentration in activities, decrease in performance. So it's a huge problem. And that's why we decided to design Yara. Yara is one of our main solutions nowadays. She's almost like a person, an educator. She is a chatbot that teaches financial education through WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the most used app in Brazil. 96% of our population uses that every day. So it's a good channel to access principally the outskirts and the low-income families and small businesses. So it was a way that we found during pandemic to be with people and to keep helping our population to access this type of content. And we are talking here, we have more than 50 models that can help you to access credit, to organize your finances, to start to invest, to organize the finance of your business, and also to become an entrepreneur. So Yara is like an educator. We could reach more than 150,000 students in all of the states in Brazil because of this solution, and she's super nice, okay? She normally gives you dynamic content with different types of content like images, videos. Now we also have audios for people that sometimes have a problem to understand what is like in a text. We also have automated completion certificates with the name, the duration, dozens of models, as I said, and also quizzes, review exercises, so everything on the WhatsApp. So we can give all of the information and KPIs that normally the educational platforms can offer, but on WhatsApp in a very easy way. And that's our business model nowadays. The companies, they hire us to offer financial education to their clients, beneficiaries, employees. So it's a way to help them, of course, with their social responsibility area, but also with their business model. So for example, Natura, I know that you have it here in US. It's a Brazilian beauty company. They are our clients for almost 5 years, and they have more than 1 million consultants, small business women in Brazil. And our solution is the main way that they access financial education there. So in one of our projects with Natura, we could diminish 78% of overdue bills only with financial education. So it's a way to help the population and also help the business model of Natura. Here it's a little bit of what we could achieve these years. I started I started my business when I was 20 years old. So I was like an intern, and I didn't know much about the ecosystem. And that's why I said that's really nice to be here and showing that we were recognized for some institutions, some regulators, policymakers, and also the media that says that we could revolutionize the financial education in Brazil. And we do that with a product that, and with social impact, that's the most important thing for us. Okay, so I would like to talk a little bit about the challenge, because that's like the beautiful pitch, you know? I'm saying like all of the things that we did and what we do nowadays, but we faced a lot of challenge. So the first one was the lack of access to relevant networks and industry contacts. As I told you, I was an intern, 20 years old. I have a co-founder. He was the same age, so we didn't have the background, and sometimes people wouldn't like believe what we were doing because we were too young, from the outskirts, from low-income families with no contacts. So it's really important to have this help, to be connected with accelerators, incubators, to help you in the beginning. Also, financial challenges in building a tech-based product. Of course, we used to study financial education, so we knew how to do it, but we didn't have the money. So to be honest, not only to build a tech base, but normally the entrepreneurs, they face this problem. They don't know how to organize the finances, how to digitalize that. So it's a huge problem when you talk about not only financial resources, but intellectual resources and mentorship. We also had difficulties with business formalization and understand how to we could get funds. So in the beginning, we had access to accountants and that could help us to open the business, to formalize. But you know, it's hard sometimes to deal with all the taxes and understand how it works. And it is completely connected with the pricing of your products. So it's not obvious when you start your business. So it was something that was a huge barrier for us. Limited access to early stage capital credit, principally when you talk about entrepreneurs without financial history, and also social impact entrepreneurs. So it's hard to find VCs that are open to invest in social impact entrepreneurs and businesses, because we had a different way of growing. We are focusing on more than just having like profits. Of course, we are profitable, but it's in a different path. So it's also a barrier. Low financial literacy, as I said, complex and bureaucratic, that's a hard word, bureaucratic, regulatory environments. The lack of local mentorship and technical guidance, it's really important. The systematic gender and racial bias, that's one thing that I faced a lot. And in the beginning, I remember we had to create some strategies to have our first clients because the companies, they just didn't hear me. That was a big problem. I'm a young black woman in Brazil, so one of the strategies that we created, my partner is also a young but white man, and I used to create all the materials, the commercial papers, and he used to present that because people could hear him more than me. So it took like 2 or 3 years I feel comfortable to become the CEO, because it was really hard in the beginning. And it's a problem that we need to solve when you talk about young people, about women, black people from minorized groups that sometimes has this extra barrier to start their business. And also the fragmented, informal, and new market. Financial education is really new. So we're kind of educating our market, and it's also a new barrier. And principally when you talk about startups, they are trying new solutions, creating new markets. So we need to have good help for that. And here I'd like to share some solutions that we found. And I'm gonna just like pick some of them. The first one was leverage a venture philanthropy model to secure the non-dilutive capital aligned with the social mission. It's something new, but venture philanthropy funds are like growing now, and we could get our first like capital as a that philanthropy. They have some different names, but from a philanthropist in Brazil. And it was really, really important to grow our business these last years. So sometimes we need to find different ways to raise the money that we need to keep doing our jobs. Access grants and social impact funds, so some prizes, connect with policymakers, so it helped us a lot to win these competitions. Participate in incubation and acceleration programs that offer mentorship, funding, visibility. It helped us a lot. I think Sebrae won a prize yesterday. They won one of the first acceleration programs that we participated. So it helped us a lot, and we keep like in contact with these accelerators to help us even after the programs. And also to create direct relationships with regulators and policymakers. It helped us a lot to build our credibility in the beginning. So we have a partnership with the B3s, like the stock market in Brazil, a lot of projects with them, the Federation of the Bank, of Brazilian's Bank, some banks in general. So it helped us a lot to build this credibility. Okay, I said a lot of things. Just like leave here my contacts, and if you want to talk a little bit more after our time here, I'm open to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now, as anyone who prepares for any of these things knows, we give people a really tight brief. You've got 10 minutes fitted into that time. We're doing really well, so I wanted to do two different things. One, thank you all for sharing very different perspectives on what's going on. For me, what always stands out is it's people and money, and how do we solve within those kind of those two channels. And there have been some examples here, which I think have been really great. We do have some more YBI members in the audience. They're going to love it when I pick on them. And I'm looking at two right here. Is there anything, YBI people in the room, that you would add to that, particularly around, the barriers? Is there a barrier that or a solution that you're trialing that would be helpful to say out loud to the room? I'm looking at you, friends. Fancy it? Please. Not a Y. There you go.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Zarate. I'm part of the Ironworks Corporation up in Gary, Indiana. So one of my problems is, like you said, I am a Latino man who is just getting into the business, but I have the irrational fears of competing against the people who I know as a minority, I won't have the same opportunities as them. What can I do that could really make me stand out and just make me ahead? Because although I have good accomplishments and great achievements under me, I still want to do more, and I still want to put myself out more so I could be presentable to them and be able to be up there with them.
Good question. Who's going to take that? Go
Yes. One thing that we did was to try to create this credibility with our solution. So, for example, sometimes when you open a business, we have the idea of the solution, but you don't have enough money to start. So we started like differently from other startups. We started with a methodology, doing everything in person, and start with the first like clients, and then we started to grow to create the MVP and and grow the solution to what it is today. So I think a good thing is when you have these first results and you show that what you're doing is great, people start to listen to you. And that was our strategy. So we started like what with us. It was not a digital solution, but it was like an MVP. We showed that it was working, that it was good, and then people, and we started to grow the solution and the business. So it's like a strategy. You need to find the strategies and how to hack the system to keep growing and doing what you believe.
I was just going to add to that, to the point you made around finding a good network to access, whether it's an ESO, an accelerator, someone who believes in you, finding those mentors and advisors who are not just telling you things, but who are your champions and who will cheerlead for you and help you navigate and open doors places, because that does happen. You just have to find the right people who will assist with that. And that helps, I think, people standing alongside you also helps, if there are credibility challenges, I think. So there are plenty of them here, I think. So I hope you can find someone to talk to. One right there. Lovely. Adenika, I'm going to jump down. I can get it. Hopefully I don't fall off the stage. I'm renowned for that. Oh, lovely. Adenika, behind you, there's a gentleman with a mic.
Thank you. So my name is Adenika Adeyemi. I head one of Faith Foundation's member organizations in Nigeria called, one of YVI's member organizations in Nigeria called Faith Foundation. My point will be more around emphasizing the point that Matt made in terms of ESOs also being sort of like the first investors to young businesses. There's a program that we're currently doing with YBI, and I know Amelia is also running something similar in Kenya. And it's a fund, it's a revolving loan fund where we provide funds, debt of not more than 5% to young youth-led businesses. From maybe about $200 to up to about $10,000. And it's also graduated in scale. We're also building and plugging it into the Nigerian credit reporting system so that when they go back to like a microfinance bank or bank, you see that also in terms of their funding profile. Because for a lot of young businesses in different environments, they don't have the collateral or the things that the bank wants. But the bank also, like they would want to see that there's traction, they're investable, and that's something that I really wanted to emphasize and call out, that when we have opportunities to design financial products, part of it should also say how do we help them build financial discipline, financial literacy, but also invest in them so that there's financial traction, and then there's a reward. So when somebody pays back $500 or $1,000, they can come back and then loan $2,000. And because we've supported those businesses, we're investing in them, supporting them, and the plan is that over like a 3-year cycle, somebody has come back like 2 or 3 times and they've paid back the loan, they've used it to invest in their businesses and the like. So thank you.
Thank you, Adenike. Oh.
Just to build on that as well, I'm Amelia from SOMO. We work in East Africa, and we're also a YBI member, and work very closely with lots of humans in here. Totally in agreement with the things that Adenike has shared, and I think one of the things that we've noticed is how then businesses are able to graduate onto more commercial forms of capital. So similar types of rates that we use in East Africa, where entrepreneurs are accessing non-commercial forms of capital through a few different funds, one of which we run with YBI and Standard Charter. And one of the helpful things that we've seen from this is our entrepreneurs build out alternative credit scoring systems through SOMO. So they utilize our digital tools for reporting, and through that we're able to utilize that data to build out a score that's based on financial impact and social data. And that data is then builds out this aggregated alternative scoring system. But then one of the things that we do in Tanzania is we actually work directly to facilitate capital through a bank. So another bank partner, Diamond Trust Bank, will facilitate that capital. And so businesses actually start to build out a formalized credit history with them as well. And what is helpful about that is then when our entrepreneurs are graduating beyond, so our max is about $20,000 that we'll invest in businesses. When they graduate beyond that point, they're able to now get more formalized forms of capital through banks. So I think that's also a helpful thing to think through as you start to de-risk entrepreneurs. What's the next stage of how they're going to be able to now graduate beyond that?
Joe,
Thanks, Amelia. Yeah, jump in.
In both of those stories, really important there is that neither Fate nor Somo thinks they're the sole source of capital. They don't think of themselves as the ones who are going to meet all the needs of those businesses. They know that they are part of the profile and the journey and the proof and the evidence. And so it's not like we're going to, this is why grants are quite dangerous, because they are not a sign of that business's ability to pay back. But if you do a graduated approach where you recognize you're along for this journey of moving them up the chain to the much more traditional forms of capital, you have such a valuable role to play as an ESO if you take that risk and go along on that journey. So go talk to, they have great programs. Go talk to them about how they do it.
I'm
Joe,
conscious
Joe,
of... Yeah,
I would like to add
go
one
ahead.
thing as well. So just before moving, right, to the other slides. So you know what? And we are going through really tough and challenging times, right? From political of view, economical of view, and from the entrepreneurship of view all around the world, right? Not just in Turkey. So as Habitat, we believe that, in those challenging times, we believe that, we have to collaborate more. We have to communicate more. We have to interact more. So that's why YBI network is important. We are proud to be a member of this network. So thank you. I would like to thank you to YBI to create this collaboration space, right? So thank you.
Thanks, Bora. Thank you for everyone. And we all know the power of networks. We're all here as part of Gen today. So it does make a difference. We are also here to launch, based on what we've said, and everyone's got, a little card on their table, our policy recommendations based on, our policy paper and recommendations based on a lot of what we've talked about. And I hope, it's captured there. There's a QR code on the piece of paper, which will lead to the full document. And I hope everyone's got the sense of the importance of this and what we could all be doing and collaborating on, because some of these things just do not happen in isolation. You can see, the collaboration going on behind some of what we're doing here as well. Our recommendations are there. I hope there's nothing there that we probably haven't touched on this morning, but all happy to talk more. And I'm going to ask if there are any other YBI members in the room to please stand up. Please stand up, Amelia and Denike. Is there anyone else here? I'm certain there's some others at the back. Please stand up. Anyone who's got something to do with YBI in the room, we're all happy to be approached and spoken to. Everyone's quite close to this or has their own experience to share. So please feel free. The coffee break is about to happen. Come and find us. Oh, we've got a final comment, and I don't want to cut anyone off. Here we go.
Hi, thank you very much. So my name is Neko Kekaru, Enterprise Women's Center, Pan Atlantic University in Lagos. So my question is really very quick. So most times when we talk about de-risking, we're talking about entrepreneurship and youth, it's always on funding. But what is the role? So this is for all of you. What's the role, or where do you see corporate governance in this mix? Corporate governance, at what stage? Is that something you need to start thinking about and introducing to the youths that are running their businesses? Corporate governance.
I'm never one to shy away from trying to answer a question, right? So I would say there's two things there. A lot of us are working with very early stage entrepreneurs. The first question is this a business? Does it have a profit margin? Is it able to function? And while we as ESOs are in that stage of helping them by making some of our own graduated investments, I'm not sure governance initially is an issue. But as they get up to the higher levels of what we can do and they start to leave what we can do, we need to spend some significant time with them around formation, around boards, around accountability. So there absolutely is a place we need to spend some time on it. I think it's at the end of the journey where they're no longer finding our support useful, where they're no longer finding our financial support useful, because they're just not going to be able to. It's a key piece of the profile of an investable entrepreneur that you have a structure, a formation, a corporate structure. So that's my I work on the earlier stage, but I do want to move them to that place. It has a role to play.
Just to add on that, I think it's really important, those like pipeline partnerships. So as Matt mentioned, like they work very early stage, so does SOMO. Fate Foundation has both a little early stage and also a little bit later. But I think those pipeline partnerships are super important to be able to move an entrepreneur from one stage to the next. So same way we're talking about financing, it shouldn't just be a SOMO financing a business. We need to graduate them onto more commercial forms of capital as they start to grow a more profitable, sustainable business. We also need like partnerships that grow them from one stage to the next, or else you just create businesses that are super dependent on your specific program. And so I think that's something anyone who is an ecosystem builder, entrepreneurial support organization, partner in here can think a little bit about of who are your partners at which stage.
Just a final note I'm going to add to that as well is there are loads of players in this, and we are also doing lots of work about how do we connect to the investors, the financial institutions, because everyone's got to come to the table and think differently, and I think and disrupt these markets for young people, and that's kind of the critical piece. Yeah, I'm going to close because we're at the close here, but please come and talk to us if we've cut you off from a question. I know the break's happening now and everyone's around, and thank you for spending the last 45 minutes with us, and I hope that's helped and been informative. Thank you.